She stood at the edge of the frozen street, her thin coat barely holding back the bitter Canadian winter. Her hands shook as she clutched a single duffel bag, the last piece of her old life. Emily had left everything behind: the apartment she couldn't afford, the job that barely paid enough for food, and the man who promised love but only left bruises on her heart. Tonight, she had nowhere to go, no one to call. And then, in the haze of her breath and tears, she saw him. Daniel. He was a stranger, really, though they had crossed paths at the coffee shop where she worked until last week. He had always left an extra tip, always looked her in the eye when he said thank you. Now he stood in the doorway of his truck, worry etched on his face. "You can't stay out here," he said gently. "At least come in. I've got a bed for you at my place. Nothing more, just warmth." Emily hesitated. She had trusted before and been hurt. Promises meant little to her now. But the night was so cruel, her body so weak, and his voice so steady that she nodded. The ride was quiet, the kind of silence where fear and hope fight inside your chest. She watched the snow blur past the window, wondering if she was making the biggest mistake of her life. Daniel's home was small but alive with warmth. The wood stove crackled, sending the smell of pine through the air. He showed her a guest room with fresh sheets, folded blankets, and even a little lamp glowing softly. "Rest here," he said simply. "You're safe now." There was no lingering stare, no hidden edge in his tone. Just kindness. For the first time in weeks, Emily's chest loosened. Days passed. What started as one night turned into another, then another. She offered to help, washing dishes, folding laundry, even cooking a meal with the few things she had left in her bag. But Daniel waved it off. "You don't owe me anything," he said. Yet slowly, she began to see the truth in his home. He wasn't a man trying to save her. He was a man who had known hunger too, who had once slept in his truck after losing everything in a failed business. He knew what it meant to be at the edge. Emily's walls began to crack. One evening, while they ate soup together, her hands trembled so badly she spilled the spoon. Shame burned in her cheeks, but Daniel only smiled and slid his own bowl toward her. "I've had enough," he said, though his stomach growled loud enough to betray him. Her eyes filled with tears, not from pity, but from the unbearable weight of someone choosing her over themselves. Winter dragged on, but inside the house there was laughter. They fixed the leaky faucet together, baked bread that never rose properly, and talked late into the night about dreams they thought they had lost. Emily confessed her love for painting, how she once dreamed of filling galleries with color. Daniel confessed he still wanted to open his own workshop, to build furniture that would last longer than a lifetime. But the real test came one morning when Emily received a call from her ex. His voice was sharp, pulling her back to every wound she thought she had escaped. He begged her to return, promised change, threatened if she didn't. She dropped the phone, shaking. Daniel didn't rush in with solutions or anger. Instead, he knelt by her side and said softly, "You don't owe him your pain anymore. This is your home now, if you want it." In that moment, she realized it wasn't just about the bed he had promised. It was about the heat of shared laughter, the hunger they endured together, and the home she never thought she'd find again, not in the walls of a house, but in the arms of someone who saw her worth. By spring, Emily's paintings covered the walls of Daniel's living room, splashes of color against the wood panels. He had built her an easel from scrap wood, rough but sturdy, and on nights when the air was soft and the world felt possible again, she would curl into his arms and whisper, "You gave me more than a bed. You gave me back myself." The story of Emily and Daniel was not about rescuing or saving. It was about two broken people who found strength in each other's cracks. In a world where promises are often empty, he had kept the simplest one. And from it grew something deeper than either of them imagined, a home built not by bricks or money, but by trust, kindness, and love that asked for nothing in return. Would you like me to expand this further with more dramatic turns, like a moment where Daniel risks something big for her, or keep it soft and inspiring like this for the 4-minute pacing?